Welcome to Momentous Doge, Episode 5, In Memoriam. This game is from the first annual David Stent Christmas Invitational, where we take time out every year to remember the social life of one David Stent, who sadly is never with us anymore. So, I'd say take a minute of silence, but this video isn't very long. So this game is against fellow local pundit JS, who likes to play apparently an even jankier brand of Morticians than regular channel feature Dave. So yeah, Kiwi Jank, here we go. I'm playing Theron with Battlecat, Egret, J-Car, Minx, and Hearn1. JS here is playing Obulus with Bonesaw, Vileswarm, Ghast, Silence, and BPM. Sadly, he does not believe in the missed BPM triggers counter like Dave does, so not a feature this game. This looks like a pretty good kick from Obulus. It is just in range for Hearn to pick up and kick, so, you know, it could have been better, it could have been worse. Yeah, such is life. Hearn's light-footed coming real into play here, and me being more than a bit sad that despite having the sweet terrain set, we didn't get to use that forest. Because I'm greedy. So after that, Hearn uses a sweet heroic landing and puts a Blessing of the Sunfather on Egret, which will be relevant later. I don't know if this sort of set JS off, but he goes for a very, I think that's a reasonable opening Ghast play. When you're carrying the dead weight of Ghast and, Bonesaw and Vileswarm, some things are not going to go your way. I'm sort of feeling quite good about this opener. I don't like how my 3-1 guy is a bit too far up the table with no backup, but I sort of got a free activation where Obulus didn't sort of pull Hearn in and start beating on him and make the Morticians side start to become a death trap for my players one by one. Instead, I go with Theron, just dump a forest, and get pinned off on Obulus, which will be quite huge here. I sort of measured it out and checked that I could pin Obulus and it would more or less be the end of him trying to Puppet Master Egret for the ball. So we've kicked it on to Egret and Sunstruck Egret. This taking the dodge up there sort of does telegraph that that's where my goal threat's going to come from. I don't really have a lot of, or maybe any, influence left on the table outside of Egret, so we needed to be fairly sure that if we're going to bank on that pinned, it's gonna go off. And if it does go off, that's sort of the game, the first turn at least, mostly sewn up. And it worked out. Confirmation bias. Sweet. Why not? So we're just trading moderately dead activations here. JS goes for what I think is a pretty decent silence play with the fire AoE, trying to slow down my goal threat, make me curve around and go inside and get tied up in Ghast. If I have to start dodging off Ghast, it's going to cost me too many influence because of fear. So I think this is actually genuinely good play. Unfortunately, he sort of slaps it down and doesn't... it's probably unfamiliarity with Hunter's models, but he doesn't check that I'm far enough away from it. While it but while putting it further away would decrease the amount of movement it takes up to go around, it'd also mean I need more chained up dodges to get around it. But I'm not sure he sort of remembered that there were dodges involved. Here's me measuring the go around the ghast side plan and realizing it's not great. I don't love that. It's a bit too much needs to go right for me that way. So this is a bit of a clock drain for me doing all of this math, but I feel like this turn 1 goal needs to have the highest chance of success if this game's going to be good. So what I decided to do is, instead of spending the influence to proc fear, I'm going to just check and am going to be in for minks to charge Vial Swarm and hunters prey, snare the dude. So yeah, we just snared off on Vial Swarm. JS sort of has his retaliation, doodles around a bit. That dice roll was memory, making some attacks on Big T. Not really doing anything there. So here, Egret is making two, taking the flurry and then the snap fire, the single shot to dodge into the fire, spend a momentum to clear the fire, and then run, so she's got a reasonably clear and easy swing at the goal. So that felt, even if it wasn't, like a much safer ride than the going in ghast side plan. So pretty happy with that. Egret takes her back to the shadows and just gets out of blowing up Vial Swarm range, because that's quite important. So yeah, this is JS kicking the ball out. Bonesaw being trapped behind that building is kind of rooting him here. If Bonesaw had been a bit more central, he could have gone straight up the guts. Might have needed a bit more influence, but you know. So here, JS, sadly I've taken the player audio off, but yeah, some choice words were said about Bonesaw. I'm pretty sure he meant every word. You know how it goes. I'm sure you've played with or against Bonesaw before. So rolling into the next turn, Vial Swarm dies, and we start again. So that puts me on 5 points to 0. I've really got to look out for... I don't think I'm going to clock JS this game. It's risky at best. I'm playing hunters after a bit of a long hunter drought, so I have a feeling I'm going to be the one down on clock. So I'm going to need to look out for that Vial Swarm coming back on the table. And funnily enough, Vial Swarm comes on nice and close to Theron. So that's pretty much cash money for me, I think. Without this, I'd be relying on Egret to pick up a Vial Swarm later in the game, which is a bit more ropey because she can't take a repeat swing at it a lot of the time. So yeah, life's good. So Bonesaw does some sweet jumping over people action here, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. Good old Bonesaw. Taking a free strike and just picking up a bit of a poison. That'll turn out to be relevant later. And offloading the ball to Obulus. Sadly, he misses, which is a bit awkward, and the ball scatters off the centre of Bonesaw line for an intercept for Obulus. So he ends up on Ghast, which could have been better. I mean, fear is a real problem for if I want to tackle that ball with Hunter's garbage tackles. But even then, it's a bit of an influence investment. So yeah, Minx goes in here again. She's doing some sweet action. She ends up taking a Screeching Banshee for minus defense again. So yeah, Bonesaw minus many defenses. 2-0. Bonesaw probably dead. If he doesn't clear that snare, Bonesaw definitely dead very soon. So this is sort of putting JS under the gun. I'm on 5. Very likely to go 7 quite soon, which means I'm getting quite close to another game, another goal being GG. So Ghast goes in, sort of does some tying up goodness, trying to fight Hearn back there. Theron starts his activation of amazingness. He goes, puts his forest down, casually remembering the forest. Great game. Double dodges off memory and shoots down Bilesform again. So this puts me on 6. And I start feeling very much like the game's live here. I'm 1 takeout and a goal away from locking it up. So obviously this is the point where JS really needs to get that ball on Obulus and make it dead to me. So that's what he does. Smart guy. Puts it on Obulus. Dodges the puppet in. All good. You know, game proceeding apace despite the questionable model choices on either side. Yeah, it feels like quite an open game here. He's got a fully stacked Obulus waiting to go. I have pinned him again, which, you know, could be better for him, but he's still quite able to take the momentum lead back if he wants it. So, you know, could be better, could be worse. Here, Hearn is going to do his sweet teleport stuff, just get away from Ghast, no probs, and lay the beats down. We get with Bonesaw on 2s and 0, that snare on the top of the playbook with the gun starts to become a lot more relevant. I believe we shoot it at silence here, which is good times. Good times. So if I'm JS here, I gotta start like feeling a little bit behind the 8 ball. I'm down 6-0, about to be down 8-0, and apart from Silence, who, you know, we're sort of doing some measuring here. Apart from Silence being, I'm starting to make inroads on Silence. He's still got Ghast, and he needs to bring those players back on once they're dead. Otherwise, it's going to be Obulus versus the world. And at that point, you almost can chase down Obulus because you have so many guys to trigger Unpredictable with that you can afford to just waste a couple of influence, trigger Unpredictable movement. And he either takes it and gets maybe tackled or some stuff happens, especially given the propensity of character players and hunters. So here, JK's gone in on Ghast, set down the trap, done some good work, and then buggered off to put crowd outs on Silence. On the crackback here, Obulus is just making some attacks. Struggling with the 4-1 variant stats. It really is quite swingy on 4-1. The spikes versus the troughs mean you can really only count on that first column, and that's not good enough a lot of the time, especially when you have captain health pools. It's just a bit average. So here, Battlecat charges Ghast again, takes the double dodges off Ghast onto Silence, heavily telegraphing that I'm going after Silence here, but with BPM so far away, Bonesaw about to die, I don't really feel like there's a lot he can do to save Silence here. Not a lot of heals going on, which is sort of what I feel like is a hunter's Achilles heel, especially with Theron. Heals and clears and like liberal use of momentum to take away the snares that enable the hunter's game plan is a big thing. So Bonesaw's gone here, stacking down the rest of my guys. Yeah, so we're up to 8. We're looking at Silence, who's on reasonably low health. I think he's on 2 at the start of this turn. And then making inroads in a Ghast, who I believe after the bleed is on about 6. So here I'm sort of, like, theoretically, Hearn can kill these 2. In just 3 swings. That's no problem. But, you know, dice. Just dice. So we actually swing quite high on silence, and we get like a skewered, mom skewered, and put it on Ghast. And then we take a singled out and a kill him with a wrap to make a bunch of momentum. So yeah, we could have tried for the long odds, kill Ghast here, but the... Oh, no, yeah, we couldn't kill Ghast. Yeah, so the fear here just sort of turns off Hearn. I would need someone with 4 influence and someone with a 3 and 4 influence. I was a bit worried that if Hearn didn't go first, J-Car could get counterattacked away by Ghast, and then that could sort of wreck my turn. He might actually get to do some work then. So, with Hearn, just killed the guy, skewered Ghast off of silence, and then that's pretty much locked up. J-Car should be able to get the 3 against a 2s guy, especially in the end he charges in. So here I'll be listing. You know, like, JS doesn't want to have the humiliating 12-0 stat line. Like, you know, none of us really want that. So yeah, JS takes the goal, and JK kills him back. Thanks so much to JS for running this event, and good times. More local event.